Welcome back to the AoT Chronicles, an Attack on Titan podcast. My name is Chad Chart.
I'm Ronny.
And today we're covering Attack on Titan. And boy, oh boy, Ronnie, man, what did you think about the episode today?
I have no thoughts.
No thoughts? Nothing.
I think we just sit here for an hour in silence and then call it a day, is what I think.
We might need to have a moment of silence for this episode.
For this episode. For our brains.
Yeah, I felt like I had a hole in my head, and it was just constantly being penetrated throughout the entire episode.
Okay. Yeah.
By
all
who
right.
knows who.
That's weird. Yeah, we're not qualified for this shit. It's going to be the worst podcast ever. Get out while you can. Probably should have watched this about 9 more times, but we didn't. This is either the longest episode we've ever recorded, or, like I said, maybe we just sit here in silence and it can be the shortest episode ever.
Yeah, and for those of you that are new to the pod, we're a couple anime-onlys who just had our minds fucked.
Yeah, we've only watched the anime. We have no manga big brainness to our podcast whatsoever, and we don't even have any general big brainness, so which means we're not prepared to talk about this. What are we gonna do?
Yeah, we're professionals at talking, not talking about important stuff. I felt like you needed part 1 Pixis big head brain to be able to decipher this shit out.
That is the only brain that's big enough to be able to dissect all this.
And for those of you that have listened to us before, I have had a problem with one sweaty armpit. Mm-hmm. Remember us talking about that in the past? Yeah. It's always my right armpit. You know shit's real when both of my armpits have been sweating this entire time.
You got both of them going?
Both of them going.
Well, as I mentioned to you, I've peed about 5 times in the last hour and a half because I don't know what's going on with my body either. I'm like nervous.
Well, you never know what's going on with your body, but yeah, this is a special occasion. So we got episode 78, Two Brothers. Wow.
Yeah, go ahead and start off with the easy part of the episode. And it's not that it's easy, but can't believe you got this luck of the draw.
So Two Brothers, I'll have to go off and say, I thought Two Brothers when I saw the title. I was thinking, oh, we're just getting Aaron and Zeke here. But no, we got two brothers.
Oh, yeah. How about that?
We got Marcel Porco and Colt Falco.
Nice.
So it's more like 6 brothers.
See, we're ready to do this.
Yeah.
Who are we kidding?
All right, so we start off with Monkey Man Zeke.
Nope. We knew we were in trouble right at the get-go because we started off with the OP.
Oh, you're right. Straight into the OP. When the OP hit, we looked at each other and said, "Oh no." You always know that's an anime rule. It doesn't. Not even with this show. If it starts off with the OP, you're in for a trip. So we start off with the OP. We headbang a bunch. We throw some shit around. I jump out of the chair, and then we get into the episode right after. We then get Monkey Man Zeke, who we thought was gonna fly away while he's falling off this wall last episode.
I really thought there was a good chance of that happening,
but he doesn't. And he face plants again. Last episode I thought where it ended, that's one of those cases where it didn't really happen. We're going to get a little rewind.
It was a classic dream sequence.
Yeah. So he falls on his face. We've got Aaron inching his way to him. And then we get Porco biting his leg. Just taking a big old chunk in his calf.
I hated that. Not the calves, just like myself. That is one of Aaron's greatest features. So
his legs?
His calves.
Oh, yeah.
More specifically. I'm surprised he was able to bite through them even with the jaw tighten.
Yeah, it can bite through anything but Aaron's calves.
They look nice.
But yeah, he's biting them, and then he gets slugged in the nape. Just a straight-up gauntlet shot to the nape. And then he just gets 4 more gauntlet shots.
And jumping ahead a little bit, I am so glad that Porco was pretty much done after Aaron wailed on him the way he did. Because the whole time I was watching it, I was like, he's dead. It's right on the nape, and he is just tearing it up.
And then he gives, not only does he do it at the nape, it's like the very last hit. He's like, you know what, I'm going to go for the head this time. It's like he was just so angry and just shreds his head. Just brutal stuff. But as he's doing that on the last hit, we get a cannon shot from Big Ball Magath himself that shoots through Aaron's hand and through his head again. So that's what, the 3rd time Aaron's been sniped in the head by a fucking cannon sniper?
And do we ever really see holes now that I think about it? How does he keep going?
He just, every time it's just like his brains are spilling out, but he just
a little bit more, and he
just keeps spilling out.
Keeps moving forward.
We then go up to the wall, though, with Porky, our boy Porky, who we have not mentioned enough these last 2 episodes. Why have you not mentioned this guy, Ronny?
Because why would you mention him?
You
had to ask me, what do we call this guy again? And I at least remembered that. I was like, we call him Porky.
It's Maggot's right-hand man.
Not to be confused with Porco.
And he's going to make it a long time in this.
He just looks a little bit like a pig.
Yeah. He says the founder has been hit. He has stopped moving. And I put again in here, we haven't talked about this pig fella enough. But I just said that, so.
You did just say that.
Yeah.
It's a way to think on the fly. And once again, we don't need to talk about him. So I hated that you put that in your notes. Yeah, I'm 100% sure.
Okay.
The only thing that we need to talk about as far as this guy goes is if someone's going to play Ham in the live action version of Toy Story, it should be this guy.
But this is the general's right-hand man. So why wouldn't we talk about him? Come on. We go to the FCS, the Flock Cock Squawk. And they've got no Thunder Spears. So they're just... These guys suck. I'm just going to come out and say it. Flock's crew, they're not good. They're not good soldiers.
They got Zeke here, so I don't want to hear it.
Well, no. Flock did when Zeke was riding on the back of his horse. And we know what happened
rode as a
there.
unit.
Yes, Zeke's
you don't know what kind of
body.
trials and tribulations they had on the path back over here.
On the path?
Too early. Don't start.
But yeah, this squad just sucks. They've only got swords. It sucks that they don't have spears because they can't do anything without the spears. They're not good. As we know, the Jaegerists are just not, in general, they're mostly just recruits and people that haven't actually been in battle. I wouldn't be surprised if most of them haven't even fought Titans.
I mean, to be fair, anyone who takes directions from Flock probably isn't going to be our best case scenario. But you made a point about why the Flock Squawk didn't have Thunder Spears, because they had just gotten Zeke, and my brain was so fried in that moment there was literally zero chance of me thinking of that. So I was actually kind of like, oh wow, I might have Chad to help get me through here. But then I didn't also realize that while putting something so smart and profound in your notes like that, you were also thinking about how you needed to really give Porky a time to shine.
Well, he was a big part of this episode. Come on now. So Armin, then we go to Armin and Mikasa and the crew that we know. This is the crew that we really care about, right? The 4. Do you care about these people?
Don't ask me stupid questions. I'm not in a good mood, all right?
God, it's hot in here. Let me take this off.
Yeah, go ahead and take that off. Has there ever been a time where more Titans have been just beat to utter shit?
There's not. I mean, even Reiner, he's hanging on right here, but he's been beat to shit too. He's just... Yeah. I guess he's just okay.
He had a spike in his chest 2 episodes ago until he put it in Aaron's. Like, they're all just...
Yeah, the only one that's really not beat up is the cart.
True.
But, Armin realizes that they got to go after the cart. That's the biggest threat right now. And as he's sitting there thinking, Mikasa flies in and saves him from a few gunshots. So, Armin, we don't need you in the middle of a gunfight. That's not his strong suit. Get the hell out of there. Yeah, as that happens, though, our crew, they're trying to get back together, and we just see there's still a lot of Marley soldiers. I mean, there was I think they said a few hundred that landed down. So, and I'm still curious as to if most of these people are legitimately Marleyans or like some of them are a few Eldians.
Yeah, at one point, one of them, they talk about like they're all turning into Titans, kind of getting ahead of ourselves too. And I thought at one point he was going to say something that led me to believe that he was like a Marleyan. And he was like, oh, this is what happens when you come to an island full of filthy devils and they're all turning into Titans. But we never got that, so I'm still not real sure of the Marleyan Eldian split.
I guess in the end it doesn't really matter, but
no,
there's probably a few Marleyans in there. But we get Pixis and his crew, and they're all riding on horses. And, Jean, Mikasa, Armin, Connie, they're talking about flanking. They need to get around. They can't go through these gunshots. And we go back to the castle at this point where we see Yelena, big ass Yelena, meditating on the edge of it. And when I say meditating, I think right here she is praying to whatever crazy thing she believes in besides Zeke. Which is just Zeke.
I don't think she believes in anything else.
Yeah, just praying to Zeke that Zeke is okay. And it pans over to Zeke while we see him in the nape, and his right arm and half of his back are just gone. They're just not there.
Yeah.
But he's still attached. He's still attached to the nape, but he's just half gone. It looks bad.
Is there never a point when things look so bad that Armin... I know we've talked about this and you gave me like, oh, well, there's, it would be dangerous for him to turn into a Titan. But like, at a certain point, to save humanity as a whole, I feel like he's got to think, oh, I should probably turn Colossal and help Eren. But we never even get that.
See, I don't know if he can even control his good, like where he doesn't have a big explosion. We don't really know much about his Titan form, really.
And that's true, but Eren is missing a leg from the knee down, an arm from the elbow down. Reiner is straddled on top of him, and the Beast Titan isn't exactly doing too hot himself. At what point does Armin go, okay, I'm going to the other side of the wall, tightening out, and we'll just hope that I don't set off an atomic bomb, because it's literally our last hope.
It makes you almost think that he doesn't really want to help Eren. Kind of. He's been so wishy-washy this last couple episodes. I don't know.
No, I don't. That's one of the things I'm like, I wish they would talk more about, because while you say that, I know for a fact that he's all for Eren at this point. Okay. And I thought they did a good job of showing everyone else buying in too, but we'll get to that a little later.
Okay. But Zeke wakes up and realizes what happened as he's laying on the ground, and we get to see that Reiner is on top of Eren, and it pans over to Porco, who is also obliterated. His Titan's obliterated, but his head is half gone? His eyeball and half his cranium?
It's just very squished. Oh, you mean like Porco himself? Yeah.
Himself,
he's got like a chunk taken out of him.
This guy is down so badly. I could say that about any character at this point.
All of them have never been so beat to shit.
Reiner is...
Because that's the other thing that we haven't even talked about, and it's believable. I'm sure she can do the same thing that we've seen Eren do before. Fucking Peak got out of her Titan, and it was dissolving to the ground, and now we come back this episode, and she's just the cart Titan again, and has the whole apparatus strapped back up, and they're on top of it. And
it didn't show us that.
No. And it happened last episode because they shoot the Beast Titan, but...
Yeah. And I not one time, there's so much happening in this episode, didn't even think about that until you just said it.
And I didn't think about it until just right now when I was talking about how beat up they were, and you were like, well, the cart Titan's doing pretty good. And I was like, it was skull and bones last episode. So it's doing okay now.
That is true. I guess since she's the only one that hasn't expended any energy, she could just hop out and turn right back. Because I think at this point, well, first, I don't think we've ever seen Reiner hop out of his Titan and then do what Eren and Annie have done, where they just instantly tighten back up.
Yeah.
And I think they're all so beat to shit and have used so much energy that none of them can really do that right now.
Right.
I'm guessing. And Zeke obviously is...
well, we know Eren can do it, and he obviously isn't doing it right now. He's gassed. That guy's gassed.
So Reiner reaches for Porco and touches his head when we get some path lightning memory type stuff pop up. And it's Marcel at the campfire. And it's when he's telling Reiner that he basically sucks eggs and that the only reason he's a warrior is because he convinced the military to give him the armored so he could save his little bro. Two brothers.
Yeah. And do you think that just so happened to work out the way it did? Do you feel like is there a moment where Reiner's almost thinking about that? Not necessarily doing this on purpose, but maybe he's thinking about Porco being all beat up and he's thinking back to Marcel.
Yeah, that's how I kind of took it, is that he's subconsciously thinking about
kind
it.
Kind of sending him that memory.
Yeah. Which is crazy to think about, because it makes sense. At first I was like, wait, wouldn't he already know that? But he ate Ymir. He has some of her memories. He doesn't have Marcel's. So that makes sense that he finally got to see that. Then we go back to Flock's shitty soldiers, though, who are, they're just not doing good again. They just keep getting beat up. Peak does the little flail with her, what's it called? The cannon. And just shoots one of them. Not shoots, but like literally just melees them with the cannon.
Oh, yeah. Does a nice swing.
Yeah. So Zeke slowly lifts up and says that it's time to summon the Titans. And as he's doing that, Eren reaches out and says, wait.
Ooh.
Which originally, when I first saw that, I was like, wait, what the fuck? Eren is not about that? And did you instantly, when that happened, because we've seen this, basically 3 times with how many times we had to stop, pause, rewind? No, I mean, the first time I'm sure I saw it, but then you go right into this Colt Falco stuff, so I don't even know if I took the time. This whole thing moves like a fucking freight train. So I would be lying if I said for a second, I was like, oh, why was Eren saying wait? Because then I was listening to Colt's speech. There was no time for me to register all that. We see Reiner's face too, which he is literally only still living right now because of Falco and Gabby. Because of Falco and Gabby. So let's hope that nothing happens to these people, or he might lose his mind. And I put right here too, he's the opposite of the fuck them kids Jordan meme, Reiner. He's literally only alive because of those kids.
He just says love them kids.
Yeah. Love them kids, and then it's like a picture of Jeffrey Epstein. So then we get Colt, who tells Zeke that Falco drank some of the wine, and when he says that, not only Zeke, but Eren, Zeke, and Reiner all shit their pants.
That would be against the law. He didn't say, which I don't know their laws on underage drinking. He says some of the wine got into his mouth.
Okay, yeah.
He didn't want Zeke to think that Falco had just been boozing it up. Because that might make Zeke mad and be like, he's not old enough for that. We're just willy-nilly now. No, someone just fell into his mouth.
I would have loved a Zeke comment that just said, isn't he 13? Colt tells Zeke that he's inheriting the Beast Titan to keep his family from being sent to paradise.
Colt still thinks he's inheriting the Beast Titan. That's adorable.
I never understood you, Zeke, even before the betrayal, but I don't think that you would ever drag kids into this. You don't have to lay down and die, but just wait at least till Falco is out of range of your scream.
All things considered, other than him actually thinking somehow that he's still inheriting the beast, Colt did a pretty good job as far as the speech goes. I don't think he could have done any better.
Right.
There was nothing he could say to make Zeke changed his mind. He made it
emotional.
Yeah, but he definitely didn't say, it gave Zeke a moment to be like, oh, well, shit.
And then Zeke goes, wait, you survived the parachute landing?
He's like, oh, fuck, I owe people a lot of money.
Yeah, then Colt continues on and he says, after Falco's out of range, kill whoever the hell you want. Marlians, Eldians, I don't care. Just don't drag my brother into this.
And just make sure I get the Beast Titan.
Yeah, just make sure before you die, I get the Beast Titan.
Because we agree, there was signed papers. We signed them. We have a contract. You can't get out of it now.
He's like, I still need to learn about your secret ass wiping technique. You said I would learn it from your memories. Give me the beast. Gabby then rides up on a horse. Don't know how she got this horse, but I'm here for it. Gabby on a horse. She even said, I think, like, whenever the horse bit her mouth, straight from the horse's mouth.
It's the same horse.
It's the same horse. It is. I was like, it's Shiloh, I think, was the horse.
She got it straight from the horse's mouth. They had a bond that could not be broken.
Yeah, so she rides up on it, and Falco at this point is just trying to get everybody away from him. He's like, look, Zeke is not going to listen to you. Please just get the hell away from me. I'm about to turn. And Zeke
Falco's so great.
He
Respect.
Protect him at all costs.
He's not even worried about himself anymore. He's like counting himself out for the count. And he's thinking about everyone else. Love it. So cute.
And what's interesting to me right here is Zeke is visibly upset. You can tell he actually does care about Falco. Mm-hmm. And he says, I understand the feelings for your brother. So It's a shame, but I must do this. As he fucking just lets out the biggest roar.
And we mentioned it at the end of the last episode that it was going to be just a kick in the nuts if he did this. And it was. Guess what? It hit pretty hard.
Spoiler alert. It was. It was just a fucking epic scene, too. Just the visuals of seeing the whole town glow up.
Which, to be fair, I did have to laugh pretty hard because throwback to when we were keeping all the infected in one room, and when they transform, it looks like at some point they all gathered together and they were like, all right, everyone spread out.
Yeah.
Go give each other some room. Divide and conquer.
Well, it's like we saw Pixis. They're riding off on horses to get away from everyone. It's like, you just spread out everywhere.
Do not group up. It's like...
But what's crazy about this, too, is they all turn and they're all essentially Zeke's like abnormal Titans. So they're even better than just the regular like pure Titans at this point.
Yeah, pretty much all the ones that we see do anything, they're sprinting quicker, around. Yeah.
Colt, as this is happening though, Colt hugs Falco as tight as he can, which is just not a good idea, and says, "I'm always here for you, Falco." Which I thought they did a very good job of making this emotional and showing Falco, who just confessed his love to Gabby. It shows him looking at her and she's crying, reaching for him. And then he just explodes Colt. So we get Niall. He's running around with some military guys. We see the look in his face. He knows what's happening. They start to turn. And then we get the best of them all, Mr. Dot Pixis, using his final moments for one last sip of some brandy. I'm calling it brandy. Or it's more of Zeke's wine.
Yeah, it was more of Zeke's wine because secretly deep down he loved it.
He loved it. And I told you, I said, in a person's final moments, they will close their eyes and they will accept their fate, doing what they love most. Mm-hmm. Our boy Dot closed his eyes and just guzzled down the last drop of Zeke's fluids that he could.
What a legend. I mean, if that's how if that's the last we see of him, that's how he goes out, how could you be upset? You know, you hate to see him go, but is there a way that you'd love to watch him leave more?
No, there's not. And I hope, you know what I hope? We see his Titan form. He somehow gets some more alcohol and he's drinking it in his Titan form.
I love that.
Yes. And he's still got the stash. His Titan better have the stash.
Or there was a brewery somewhere in Shiganshina that we never knew, and he just goes straight to that and he grabs like a huge tank, and the Titan's just carrying around with it, just drinking from it.
He's full sprint to the brewery.
The Titans thing is all they ever do is have a hunger that they don't actually have for humans. Pixis is the only Titan that doesn't care about humans at all. He's just trying to wet his beak a little bit. Yeah.
Zeke commands him to go kill the Marlians, and he just sprints for the brewery. Doesn't listen.
But he also doesn't sprint. He stumbles around everywhere.
Yes. So the Marlian soldiers are on top, and they're saying, "Oh, we need to get the cannons." And as they're saying that, they just start to get all devoured. And we're right back. This is Attack on Titan. I forgot what show we were in. This is the original Attack on Titan.
Is it season 1?
Reiner is shitting himself. The look on his face is just so sad. As he's looking up at I said semi-Riri Falco Titan. And I believe you gave it
I called it the Giraffe Titan.
The Giraffe Titan. I also liked something else you said, the Slinky Neck.
Not the old Slinky Neck.
The old Slinky Neck Titan. And that's probably my favorite that you said.
Thank you. And he looks so ridiculous.
He looks so dumb. And I love, thank you Isayama for making his Titan look so dumb. I would have hated a normal Falco looking Titan.
It doesn't even fit, and yet I love it because it's like they were like, okay, this is taking us back to season 1, episode 1. Also, make Falco the Titan just the most standard animation you can.
Yeah.
Everything that we've come to in season 4, don't worry about it. Just go look at Titans from season 1 and just make him look utterly ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm so here for that too. He looks like Daddy Longneck, that dude on Twitter.
Yep.
Dude, I would love to think Isayama saw like a meme of that guy on Twitter, and he's like taking notes, writing it down. Zeke then says,
it's like watching Mike Glennon play quarterback, and he's like, you know what? David Mills. There's a name.
David Mills. Watching the coach choke David Mills.
There is nothing more that Isayama likes than backup quarterbacks. And their necks.
Yeah. Zeke then says, get him, Falco. As he dead sprints to Reiner, which this moment right here, to me, was one of the best of the episode. The suspense of him saying, get him, Falco, and him sprinting dead at him. I like to think Reiner right now is thinking about killing himself.
Okay.
Gabby then gets up to see a melted Colt.
Because he's never thought about doing that before, by the way.
Colt,
yeah,
this was hard to see.
Stand too close to the fire, you might get burned. Wasn't that hard to see. He should have let go of Falco when he told him to. He wasn't going to accomplish anything where he was standing.
Yeah, I would have liked to seen the parachute fail, but the melted Colt face while hugging his brother, that one, I guess that's a pretty good fate to have. But
you think he's still getting the Beast Titan?
Well, hey, Armin got the Colossal while he was melted.
It's true.
We could still inject him really quick.
There's a contract.
Yeah.
It's on paper. Legally binding.
Yeah, so Gabby then looks up and sees Reiner holding down Eren and Falco. And Eren's head is still just gushing out brains. This guy has the biggest brain of all time. Because the brains keep pouring out.
Oh my god. What if Pixis Titan just has...
the biggest head ever.
Just the biggest brained head you've ever seen. It literally looks like a Squidward head. SpongeBob Chronicles coming soon. What if his head is just shaped like Squidward's?
His head is the equivalent of Falco's neck. Like, yeah. That's the big difference.
That's how ridiculous it is.
Yeah.
Please. Just say it quick.
Reiner then realizes that the one that has to end Falco is he himself. And he has never been down so badly. I like to think Reiner, Isayama, when he's writing the show, he's just like, let's make it to where Reiner, he doesn't die, but he just constantly wants to kill himself, and we just up those levels. Every episode, we're just going to make it worse and worse for him. Eren then grabs Reiner's head with his legs, pulls out a little MMA move, and throws him off.
But not his legs, because what is the name of the grappling move when you get someone in a lock with one leg and then just like part of a knee?
Oh, is that what it was?
Well, remember, like
it happened quick. So
they chomped his the jaw titan chomped his hole, so you can look and you see that like from the knee down, one of them is not even there, but he's still like squeezing with like part of his thigh. Gets him off.
That's one move I haven't seen in MMA. We need to see that. We need somebody's leg chopped off.
God, that guy keeps moving forward.
Yeah, he throws him off to escape, but I've got in my notes right here, but our boy Reiner keeps moving forward.
Oh, wow.
And he grabs Eren's leg, his full leg, not his half leg.
Gets him by the ankle. Nice.
Yeah.
Get him low. Hit him low.
And then I also put here the desperation by both sides to touch and not to touch brothers.
Yeah.
Is so intense. They did such a good job of making it like this is the final moment. If they touch, it's over. If they don't touch, it's over. Which side wins?
I love that.
I could feel it in my bones. Okay, both of my armpits sweating. As Ronnie states, the old slinky neck titan of Falco takes a bite of the armored nape, and Eren then turns. And with his good leg, just repeatedly kicks Reiner in the face.
By the way, that hurt my teeth really, really bad watching him do that.
Yeah.
There's not much of a worse feeling than biting down on something that you can't bite.
It's like biting down on a massive jawbreaker that's almost as big as your mouth and just continually biting on it and not
like a metal rod. Oh,
yeah. And as he's kicking Reiner in the head, though, we got Big Dick General Magath shoots another cannon shot straight to the nape of the beast and says, he's a goner this time, I'm sure of it.
And then he says, crisis averted. And I mean, fuck you, McGath. If there was ever a time that I knew we hadn't averted a single crisis, it was in that moment.
Yeah. Oh, God. It's one of those where you shoot a three-pointer with 0.5 seconds left, you drain it, and now you're up by 2. The other team only has 0.5 seconds to shoot the shot. You're
celebrating. Yeah.
You're celebrating, you go, crisis averted. And then they throw the ball in, shoot it, and make it last second. We had a moment like that, and you know we're going to tell that in our Lyles.
Oh, all right.
The basketball story.
Love that. Write it down.
Yeah. Anybody listening, please message us about that so we don't forget.
Because he will not write it down.
We then get Flock hanging off the side of the wall asking if anyone is alive. Again, just like in the Beast Titan Attack of Season 3.
He's a survivor.
He is. He's literally the guy that doesn't do anything in a fight but somehow lives every time. And we look up to see that his whole squad is dead. Peak has turned them into mush. And I would like to get mushed by Peak.
Gross.
That big ol' do you think she just gave him a little big ol' booty bump?
She might have sat on him.
Yeah. They didn't show that, but they should have. That's an important piece he missed of writing. Magathan turns the cannon to Aaron when, boom, Mr. Armin Arlert himself sends a thunder spear right on the cannon.
Right, Armin.
And it knocks Magathan around.
That was much more useful than your Colossal Titan.
Well, I don't know what he would do with this Colossal, Ronnie. I don't know where you're going with this because we get Porky, my favorite character, my favorite side character, the Marley side, and the only side character of the Marley side. He's outside of his, or he's not in the cannon anymore. He was earlier, but right now he's got a rifle and he's with another, doofus who are aiming the rifle right at Armin. We think, oh, he's about to get shot. He's not going to go Colossal. That'd be a mistake right here. When Mikasa does one of the sickest, what does she even do right here? Try to explain.
I mean, she even in the heat of battle, she's still showing off. She goes with the backward slice, the no look.
The no look backward slice at the same time, reverse blades, and just slices the necks off of Porky and that guy.
Yeah, you think it's Porky? It might be. I have not.
No, it is.
I'm not. He's not. They didn't portray him as chunky as he actually is.
She slayed the pig.
Well, I'm 50-50. If he did die, he didn't deserve to die at the hands of Mikasa.
He lost weight.
He didn't deserve to die at the hands of Mikasa. He deserves more to die from a mishap with a peanut allergy or something, not at the hands of best girl Mikasa. So if that's truly what happened, I'm a little bit mad. But at the same time, she did insult him in the fact that she went with a no-look backward slice.
Yes, that makes up.
So the fact that she showboated a little bit, if that is him, then
the war goddess Mikasa.
Yeah,
I like to think he was on keto diet after the attack a month ago, and that's why he's a little slimmer. He was like, you know what? This is a serious battle. He's like, I didn't think this was serious before, but I've got to lose some weight, and so he's lost a few lbs. We then see Zeke's body disintegrating. He's not doing well. His Titan's not doing well. And we get a quick look at Reiner that thinks it's completely over. We got everybody thinking it's over now. And he says, he's saying it's over because now Eren can't use the Founder.
Which this was another part of the where I'm like, come on.
He says, if I can just undo the hardening on my nape and have Falco eat me, it will finally be all over. And I like to think right here he's thinking, I can finally die. Please, for the love of God, let me die.
Yeah, that was the only way that I made this one okay for me, because I'm like, seriously, Ronner, you honestly think that it's just all over already? But he wants to die so badly that I'm thinking he's talking himself into it, so yeah. I'm allowing it.
He wants to die, and he can say Falco in the process. So be it. As we get a crying Gabby just watching all this mess. This right here actually kind of the most emotional part for me. She is not a cunt, okay? There is no way that this girl can do anything at all this episode for me to call her a cunt.
Okay.
There's just not one.
All right.
She's crying, innocent. She can't do anything.
I mean, I told everyone last week, take out the in. Cut it out. Yeah. So I'm glad to hear that.
Reiner then closes his eyes when Falco is chomping down as he's trying to undo the hardening. When paths. I call this the paths look. He instantly just stops biting the nape and turns.
Before we do that, how were you feeling when Reiner was getting ready to unharden his nape?
I was getting sad.
I felt sick to my stomach, bro.
Did you really?
I was really stressed out. I mean, because we had already talked about it last episode that this was going to be the most likely scenario, and everything felt like it was happening so fast. And spoiler alert, it's going to continue. Everything's going to happen really fast. But I just wasn't ready. Like, I don't know if I was waiting for Reiner to have another conversation. Yeah. But in that moment, I was totally ready for him to just, like, let it go. And then that was just going to be the end of him. And we never got to have another talk with him. Nothing like that.
It was almost like I was sad but relieved. I'm like, because I love Reiner as a character. And I was like, he can finally just stop. He doesn't have to do anymore. But like you said, it would suck if he just died like that and with no combo.
Yeah.
But I call this the paths dilemma because Falco just stops biting the nape. And we know Zeke told him to bite the nape. So now he's going against Zeke's orders. As we see Porco standing outside of his Titan body saying that he used all of his power to heal his body. He says he's not dying for nothing, though. As we see a close-up of his eye completely gone and definitely a chunk of his head missing, just smoking out.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, Porco's like kind of a cool side character. I've never really felt anything for him, though. But right here, I kind of did.
Okay, I gotta be... The act of everything happening, Falco going, eating Porco, all that, I liked it. But I didn't like how they did it on rewatch. Because, first of all, it was like a little too convenient for me. Look at Aaron, Zeke, Reiner like 17 times before, and he essentially just is like, oh, I just don't have enough power to, heal myself. Here, take me. And even if that's the case, then I would have liked it much better if he made a point that he was just tired. And he knew that it was Falco, and he was doing it for Falco, or he felt like Reiner needed to keep the armor for them to end up winning. But instead, it was just like him grown up, still making petty comments towards Reiner all the way up until the end. And it just like made me, it left me like a sour note on his character. I'm like, oh yeah, you guys were kids and stuff like that, and you saw that memory, but your brother, even in the end, pushed Reiner out of the way to sacrifice himself, and you're going out being like, oh yeah, I was better than you all along.
I do see what you're saying, but I also took it as he does exactly what his brother does and then saves Reiner himself, and he's just making that petty comment because he's kind of a dick, but it's not like he's like being that serious, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
he's actually saving Reiner. That's how I took it.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely fair.
Maybe, though. He might just be a straight-up asshole.
It's just like when the first time through, I didn't even think about it. It was like upon a rewatch when, yeah, he's definitely beat up, but who isn't? Who have we not seen just like messed up to the fullest extent, and then him just being like, oh, there's no way I'm healing up from this.
Well, I think he's because his actual... Is he just doing it because his actual body is like fucked up?
Well, I mean, yeah, but look at Zeke's body. Or look at, Reiner when he was had a metal plate in his face and his whole Titan was like poisoned or whatever it looks like. And, all of the, Aaron, every time he got his arms and legs cut off just for them to get him out of the Titan.
Yeah.
So to me, it was just like, okay.
So what do you think his real reason was? He saw that memory and he's just like,
no. What you said, I like that aspect of it, of him being like, oh, the Galliard brothers, their whole purpose in life was just like save Reiner and let him keep going, even though we were both better warriors than him all along.
Oh, I like the way you said it even better now.
Thank you. But what was actually on screen without that thought or whatever, it's not that I didn't like it. I was just like, oh, I felt like it could have been better on rewatch.
Yeah. So there's no denying now I was always better than you. As Falco sprints at him and just guzzles him down instantly. And It's a pretty brutal.
That was.
Oh my god!
Because they wasted no time.
No, he chopped down and.
For an episode that loved to do some slow motion stuff, this was not one of those moments. They were like, get it done.
I would almost put it as it was the Galliard brothers' paths to die in the mouth of someone.
R.I.P. May his TikTok dances live in infamy.
How cool did he look? His hair with his eye taken out, he still looked pretty cool. Just say it. He looked pretty hot.
He was a TikTok star for a reason. He was hot, man.
You think him and Peak had a little thing?
No.
You don't think so?
Definitely not.
I could see Peak, sleeping around with a TikTok star.
Nah, I don't think so.
Shaking that thing, getting on the TikTok screen.
I think you're a fool for that.
Gabby sees this whole thing happen as Reiner yells for Porco. And when he sees what happens too, he just straight up punches Aaron in the mouth. Not even in the face, in the mouth. I loved that. It was like through his teeth, just in his fucking esophagus. Is that what it is?
No, you've always really loved fingers and stuff in your mouth, so
you
said it.
Don't say
me.
Frank. Don't say Frank.
I'm not saying anything. I'm saying you don't.
Aaron doesn't have a gag reflex because he took this fist all the way down, but then he hardens like in season 3.
Yeah, you're not picky. Any fingers in your mouth, welcome. Come on in. That's what you say.
Yeah, as long as they smell good. As Aaron does a fucking somersault gymnastics flip out of his nape. That was the coolest thing Aaron has done in the show.
Tins
all
across
around.
the board. Great landing.
Great landing. He's
as
barefoot.
As a guy whose mom signed him up for gymnastics when I was like 5 or 6 years old, and I've got video footage on VHS tape of me. I was someone who really loved nailing the landing after like a cartwheel. The cartwheel was a little all over the place, but my landing was always on point, so I really respected.
You always raised your hands up with your ass sticking out?
Exactly.
Yep. Zeke, we then go over to Zeke, who's blown in half almost, laying on the ground with one arm that's good, as he says he imitated Peak, and pretended to be dead, and it worked perfectly.
Cool possum line.
I like to think right here that Zeke just rolled out of the nape right before he got shot.
Yeah.
And he's just like, he's laying next to his skull or whatever as it's evaporating, and he cannot move whatsoever except for his left arm. That's the only thing he can move.
Okay.
Because if you look at it, I don't know if it shows the rest of his, like it doesn't really show his legs. Does he even have legs at this point? Did they get shot by the cannon too?
I know when we saw him in the Titan and his whole chunk of his back was basically missing, his legs were still connected, but not by much. And I don't know exactly how the anatomy of his muscle structure works as far as moving his legs when they're like that.
Yeah. So Zeke yells, "Come, Aaron," as everything now gets slow. And we see in the background a squatted Gabby. When we get the look from Aaron.
Squatted Gabby. Good notes.
On one knee. As we get the look from Aaron, where it does the close-up of his eyes as he looks over. And she's sitting there with the pole vault gun.
And before you get to that, it was also cool to see. I talked about everyone else buying into whole Armin's thing about Aaron being, the one they gotta protect, help out. Reiner reaching for him and them swooping in with like Falco and Connie still sending thunder spears into Reiner to. So
did he pull off like his wrist? I think Reiner, like when he pulled out of there, his wrist just came off. Did you see that?
Reiner's wrist? Like they hit his wrist or something?
Yeah. I
might have missed that. Yeah,
No, I'm sorry. His wrist was in Aaron's mouth, and it was hardened, and I think he pulled his arm out of there, and his wrist just stayed in there.
Maybe. I saw, because it was frozen or whatever, and he used his other hand to basically, knock it out, so I don't know if his wrist was lost or not. And
then it was cool, though, because I think Connie gives him a headshot, or maybe it's Jean. I don't know which one's which.
Yeah.
But it was just and a headshot.
In pretty much 99% of scenarios, they did exactly the last thing it needed to take, their last offense, for Aaron to get where he needed to. But alas.
I think they look and even see Gabby too. The look on their faces. Did you notice that? Connie and John, it's like they either saw Gabby or they were like, fuck, why are we doing this? Please touch. And then that's when we see Gabby shoot the pole vault, which is basically a 50 caliber sniper rifle. I don't know what tech they got over here, and Aaron's neck, straight through the neck as it twists off. It does like a full 720 off of his body.
Oh, there was some serious torque.
It goes flying, and they show this whole thing. Blood squirting out.
Yeah, the blood kind of does. Did you ever have one of those sprinklers as a kid? Where there was like a fan and make the water go. That's essentially what the blood does.
His head, he has got to be dizzy from this. I know his head is off of his body, but he's got to be dizzy from
Dizzy joke, nice. I like that.
I, for one, would be dizzy. I get dizzy easily. And if my head did like 4 spins in a row and flew off my body, I would be dizzy. Oh my God.
As a guy who's definitely got vertigo, if you had your head chopped off and it was doing spins like that, you would have a bad day the next day.
I had the biggest what the fuck moment when this happened. I thought for a second, I was like, oh, it's going to be like a little rewind. That didn't really happen. You know how some shows do that bullshit?
You thought for the second time in the episode they were going to do a little rewind action.
Yeah. But his head flying off and them showing the entire thing. They have censored some of the dumbest things in this show before, but they show the main character's head fly off of his body while doing a 720. It was insane.
Yeah, it was... no words, really. I was sitting there going, what? Like, what? What even...
Did it make you sad?
I mean, you go through real quick. You're like, well, Aaron's not dead. And you're like, but I'm watching his head flying. As many times as you're like, oh, that person's dead. He got swallowed by a titan in his arm. And still, there was like, you could explain your way out of it. And now you're like, his head is floating through the air. What?
He gets swallowed by a titan. All of his limbs come off. He gets decapitated. But he keeps moving forward.
Yeah, that's what he was saying.
Yeah.
You couldn't hear it because everything was in slow motion, and his head was turning out of frame, so you couldn't see his mouth. But he was going, I'll keep moving forward.
And one of the coolest shots, too, is you look in Zeke's eyeball, and you can see his head in Zeke's eyeball flying.
That was cool.
And then I'm pretty sure there was some music in the background that said, I believe I can fly.
Or it was going, you spin me right round, baby, right round.
When you go down, when you go... As the catch up. So yeah, this is where I pass it on to you.
All right, we... Well, did you have the calling card?
No, that's the end of the episode, right?
Oh, okay, awesome. So
Nothing else happened.
We're just acting like those don't even exist. Cool. Okay. Thank you for respecting it. What?
Did you write it down?
Well, it was your part of the episode,
no.
So I thought maybe you'd have it.
No, I give it to you before we go.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So we flash back to Aaron and Zeke's talk in Liberio, and it pretty much goes down exactly how we saw it the first time. You know, they discuss the euthanization plan. They're showing us once again that these guys, they are on the same page.
Oh, yeah.
They both have the same goals in mind. Eldians shouldn't be born. There's no greater salvation than not being born in this world, yada, yada.
Their bookmark is on the same page number.
Aaron's going to keep moving forward, all of that. We see everything just like that until the very end when they can't touch until, the moment comes. So Zeke tosses him the ball, and then this time we see that Aaron doesn't catch it.
And at first, I was thinking, wow, Grisha is the worst dad on the planet. He has the most unathletic kids. He didn't teach him anything. His own kid had to learn how to play baseball from someone else.
Yep.
But
as much as I loved my woman Carla, she didn't have that good of an arm. She was better at catching. She was a great catcher, but couldn't, so they didn't play catch a whole lot.
I mean, my little sister, when she was 3, could have caught this baseball.
And so, but then the second time we watched it, before Zeke even threw it.
It took us another watch to catch this.
I paused it, and I just looked at you and was just like, fuck this show. I mean, sign for things to come. Aaron doesn't catch Zeke's face.
Oh, yeah.
I would love, like, in my own headcanon, and they might have even been showing this probably isn't even original, that was the moment where Zeke was like, all right, well, I'm going to have to, like, stop him one final time before we actually do this to make sure that he's with me.
Yep.
Because it was like he knew right away. He was like, oh, he didn't catch the ball. And he didn't buy whatever hospital sluggish bullshit Aaron was spewing.
Yeah. Hospital life must have made me sluggish. What a line, Aaron. You could have. You've been sitting in a hospital for like a month now. You couldn't come up with a better line than that.
So we go back to the present with a really cool slow motion flash thing. You said, so time has just stopped here, right? You're like, I guess. And I was getting into my feels. My brain was fried, and I'm like, no, this is how slow time moves for Zeke when he's in the paths.
Oh.
Huh?
Oh.
So we see people getting eaten by Titans. We kind of think that Mikasa didn't even see Aaron get shot because it shows her evading the cart Titan. Mm-hmm. And the fact that, you know, they didn't get my girl Mikasa's facial reaction when that happened. I think that she doesn't even know at this point.
You think she'd be sad?
Gabby is being thrown back from what we can only guess is the recoil from firing the pole vault.
Oh, yeah.
That thing's got some kick.
I was glad they put that in there because she is a little girl shooting a massive gun like that. There better be some kickback.
Then we got Zeke Yeager. Da-na-na, da-na-na. Catches his brother's head at the last moment right before it touches the ground.
Odell Beckham Jr.'s his head. So epic.
Sending
I thought he could only pitch. I did not know he could catch. I take back everything I've said about him.
He can play the field as well. And that sends us into the coordinate. And hold on, everyone, because we got some paths to the max. Strap it on.
Yeah.
So
say it like I say it to all my ex-girlfriends. Strap it on. Do me.
Here's how we're going to do this, okay? We paused it. We've got, I think, we at least wrote down what we thought it was for every single thing except for one. We absolutely couldn't tell what it was. You stop me when you have something to say because there is a lot.
Yep.
We got young Mikasa from the first episode, we think, when Aaron wakes up from his nightmare, whatever you want to call it.
She's carrying the twigs.
Grisha's little sister, Frida Rice. Reiner crying, we think. Pretty sure he's on his knees.
Yeah. It's when he was asking, to me, it looks like when he was asking Aaron to kill him.
Okay.
In the basement.
Armin running with the book. This was the one you first called back to, saying you didn't know what you were watching, but it gave you chills, and you were like, oh, fuck.
Dude, I don't know what... everything was happening so quick, and just anytime something like this happens where you see a bunch of flashes of different memories, it already gives me the chills. But for some reason, little Armin running with that book just sent the chills down my spine.
That transitions us into an upside-down loop-de-loop where we land on Rod and his family with the creepiest Christmas card you've ever received. Levi, real quick. We got Sasha eating what has to be something, and Connie trying to stop her, fighting her.
Don't say what has to be something. It's a potato.
We get Falco. Super quick. This is one of the weirder ones. Super quick one. It looks like Reiner and maybe Levi in a sauna.
Yeah, dude, they've got towels over their laps. And there's people behind them sitting, because it's just like a sauna, an elevated surface behind them sitting.
It's definitely Reiner. And then to the left...
Looks like the guy's short, and he's got Levi's hair. It's got to be Levi.
So I guess the boys just getting a little sauna time.
Hold on. Now, we have to talk about what the fuck that could be. We can't just let that one go.
Okay.
I want to hear your best theory.
Well, do you have one? You're the one that's... give me a second to think here.
Okay, well, Reiner has facial hair. It's definitely, present Reiner.
Okay. Present Reiner?
When I say present Reiner, he's got facial hair, and he looks like present Reiner. It's not from 4 years ago on Paradise.
Yeah.
So, no, I have no fucking idea what this could be.
I like to think that Reiner... paths can also be manipulated into dreams or whatever. I think he had a dream one time that it was back in the good old days, and he was, got some sauna time with his friend Levi.
Did you see his side eye? It was one of those, he's looking, It's like whenever you're in a sauna...
He's heard about the hog. He just wanted to check it out for himself.
When you know somebody's got a hog, you want to take a quick little peek.
So yeah, give us your best takes, people. And then we go to what we think is Grisha as a kid. Then Grisha on his knees yelling.
Where do you think that's from? Is that
older?
He was an older guy, yeah. Because he had the glasses and the long hair.
Yeah.
I guess we haven't seen that.
Well, I'm trying to think. Like, I couldn't name the specific moment, but so then we got a bird flying towards the sun because it's season 4, part 2. Got to have some birds flying.
Bird cages, birds.
That transitions with the swing of the basement key, and
the creepiness.
Your best guess of this next one was that it was Historia.
Yeah, look, long blonde hair. Looks like Historia, pregnant Historia.
And then
Horstoria,
my favorite one, craziest one, right after that, some witch with a choker on.
You have always said you love witches with chokers.
I don't know if I've ever said this on the pod.
But you said it with a B instead of a W.
No, I didn't. I don't know if I've ever said this on the pod, but a girl wearing a choker is one of my biggest turn-ons. I love a choker.
Well, not only that, she's also got black lipstick on and even necklaces below the choker.
She has been making some potions for sure.
This is hot. This is one of the hottest things that has ever been on this show. She's also got, I noticed, very big earrings, 3 necklaces below the choker, and black lipstick. I would be on my knees for this lady.
Was it Carla's goth phase, you think?
It could have been, yes.
And then what looks like Armin with glasses. When I first saw it, I was going to be like, oh, that's like his mom or something. But then the more you look at it, it straight up just looks like Armin with glasses. Yeah.
My theory, in the paths, Armin needs glasses.
And then Founder Ymir, we have arrived at the coordinate. Aaron is looking good. You know, did he get a haircut? It seems a little bit shorter than I've seen.
It seems a little bit shorter. Obviously, it's still long, but it does seem shorter.
I think he just had a little trim. Zeke is chained up behind him. And this is the coordinate where all paths converge, I believe, is what Zeke says.
Zeke's beard and long hair makes him look so philosophical.
Oh, I've got exactly what his deal is here in a second.
Oh, okay.
I'll go ahead and say it straight up, pretty much have line by line here because I didn't know what else to do with myself.
You kind of have to. Hold on.
So a lot of Zeke
initial thoughts, though. We get through this memory phase. We go in to the sprouting bright tree of the path, is what I call that.
Okay.
What are your feelings in this moment the first time you saw it? Because me, I've still got the chills down my spine, and I'm like, oh my God, we're here. We made it. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much the same thing. Everything went out the window, and I was confused as soon as I saw Zeke chained up.
Yeah, that was another... There was so much
my
going
initial
on.
thought was just like, okay, just because Aaron got his head chopped off, we got him in time. This is the path.
Yeah, because I even told you that, like, initially, it took me a second to even notice he was chained up because somebody was penetrating my brain hole that entire time.
I mean, I didn't think anything of, like, when I saw them here, I was like, oh, of course, they have to come to the coordinate to do the Founding Titan stuff. I didn't think that deeply that they were doing that. Zeke says, those with the Founding Titan power must come here to use it. Those with the royal blood, that is. This is going to be the same exact case. Mostly, I just got dialogue and a few thoughts. If you've got something, you got to speak up, all right?
Okay.
And this Zeke looks as if he's been starring on Lost for the past 10 seasons.
Yes, he's Sawyer. He looks like Sawyer.
He says, the wait has been exhausting, Aaron. Feels like I've been waiting years for you to heal and wake up. Aaron asks, years?
Years, but also an instant.
Yeah, he's not sure everything happens in an instant. Your head was blown off by Gabby, but you made contact with me before you passed on.
And she is not a cunt.
No, who said that?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
No one said that.
It's that's a very cunty thing to do, but we're not going to call her a cunt.
Hell no. You think we're going to use language like that? They succeeded. They've obtained the power of the founding titan. And behind Aaron is the founder Ymir. He tells Aaron that at one time she rebuilt my body and with this earth and brought him back to life.
So I'm going to speak up right here. We're on a DMT trip right now. We just smoked some DMT.
Well, okay. You'll have to tell me what that's like.
Well, I've heard through experiences of my friends, when you smoke DMT, it lasts 15 minutes, but it can feel like it's hours.
Yeah.
Some people, they do too much of it. It feels like it's years. You're in a different realm. You are floating with giant animalistic creatures swimming through orange juice. What one of the experience was for my friends.
I love hearing this.
No pulp either. There was no pulp in this sea of juice. None.
Smooth,
juicy flow.
Thank God, because can you imagine swimming through some orange juice and feeling some pulp on your feet below you?
I feel like you would wake up and see that you spilled some pulp out of your wiener. That's what it would be like. But the point I'm trying to make is, as he awakened.
Yeah.
As he awoken.
Okay. That's the thing. When you're on DMT, you awoke. You don't awake.
Yes, you don't. You have awoken your mind. You have awoken the spirit. And when he awokened, it had been 15 minutes, and he said it felt like 12 hours.
I love that.
And that is exactly what we're getting right here.
And the other thing that I told you, which I really liked, he says, he said at one point she rebuilt my body. That was like 2 hours ago in real time. And he's talking about, he's like, years ago she rebuilt my body. I can't say that
creepy
word.
And also, so she's essentially what he's talking about her like right now. This is essentially like a different realm, and she's the god of the realm. This is like kind of like a heaven type thing, but not really at all.
Oh, you just now realize that's what the coordinates / paths were?
No, I'm just trying to like say it in simpler terms because they try and like beat around the bush so much.
No. You're making a mountain out of a molehill. You know what you say?
What?
Paths.
You're right.
Don't overthink it. Zeke clearly hasn't been cutting his fingernails very long.
Okay. Oh yeah, this is Dio. I wrote right here. Some Dio Brando vibes. I saw these nails. As we all know,
Zeke is pointy.
Zeke is Dio, and when Dio slurps the blood from Joseph Joestar and gets them long fingernails, I instantly thought of it. I was like, holy shit, it's Dio Brando.
He says, I think she builds the Titans here, expending untold years whenever we seek the power of the Titans. You want to touch on that?
Yeah, I think he's essentially saying, whenever we either inject somebody, they turn into a Titan, or we give them my fluids, and I scream and say, why did you drink my fluids? And they turn into a Titan. She had built those Titans for him.
Fucking founder Ymir is up here playing Build-A-Bear Workshop.
She's got to be the best at arts and crafts.
I mean,
out of sand, dude. Imagine going to like a...
Which is so great. That means like when Ymir got the Jaw Titan, she was like, oh, fuck you. You think you can just use my name? I'll make you a Jaw Titan. Check this out. You look like a dwarfened monster.
Dude, I'm not kidding. I think you legit just spoiled me for what's coming in the future.
When founder Ymir starts talking and she's like, oh, and then that bitch Ymir came up here.
I gave her the worst jaw you could
And
get.
she told me and looked at me seriously and said, oh yeah, my name's Ymir. I was like, oh, okay. Let's see what I can work up for you.
That's epic.
And then, Falco came up and she was like, oh, long neck, very long neck.
Yeah. Give him that daddy long neck. Oh, and by the way, the music in this while it's playing as he's talking to Aaron, it's just very eerie and creepy. It does the perfect job of just making me be like, I'm on DMT right now.
Yeah, I didn't like being here. Aaron says about the founder Ymir, so here all alone forever? Zeke tells Aaron to command the founder Ymir. The time has come to fulfill our dream.
Wait, and Aaron's line right there blew my mind even more. I didn't think about it. She's been here forever. If time is like Zeke says, and she's been here way longer than Zeke, that sucks.
She's been here for a minute. You get used to it at some point, right?
Well, that's why we see the look in her so-called eyes and the way she walks. Well, you definitely tell it's took a toll on her.
I mean, think about all the Titans she's crafted and how just some are so weird. It's because she gets bored. God. And she's like, oh, I'll make this one super shy.
Mr. Shy Guy. Thank you for crafting that, Ymir. Let's just go ahead and say that. Thank you for Mr. Shy Guy and for the Ronnie Titan.
Then she was like, oh, I love that terrible podcast with Ronnie and Chad. I'm going to make this Titan look like Ronnie. What I think Ronnie looks like.
Let's make him a 2.5 meter class. I know each Titan's at least 3 meters. We're going to make this one 2.5.
So, and you know why she did that? She only had 3 ladders. And one of each height, so she couldn't go. She could either go all the way up, or she had to stay down low. You know.
Do you think she makes like toilets when she has to go to the bathroom?
Yeah, because you shit in the paths. Give me a break. No. Aaron notices the chains around Zeke, and Zeke says they're to restrict my freedom. It's the vow renouncing war. As I thought. Oh, and then he says, as I thought, only you can move freely here. Only you can command the founder Ymir. And looking back on it now, all of this was bullshit.
But I still, for some reason, with his future comments, I'm taking this as maybe the people with the royal blood, like Frida, she was actually chained and couldn't move freely in the path. Because it's like Rod Rice talks about how Frida knew how this world was created and all the secrets behind the walls and blah, blah. And he's like, but she has royal blood, so she can't do anything. That's what makes me think she actually couldn't. She was actually chained down, or maybe even Yuri, too. Because they were never able to actually use the full founding Titan because of the renouncing war.
Yeah, right. But that's also, Zeke will get to it here in a second, when he says, I was the first one outside of the walls that had royal blood that was not bound to the kings.
Because he technically didn't swallow the fountain? Is he saying because I don't own the founding in my body, I touched the founding to get here? That's why I'm not tainted by those ideals? Is that what he's saying?
Perhaps, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that. We're going with it. We'll move it on. He then says, fulfill my, Mr. Tom's, and your dream.
Mr. Tom.
Please save the world.
Yeah, because your little bro, Aaron, shares the dream of you and Cassava-san.
Tell her to make Eldians unable to bear children until the end of time. Crushing the military with the rumbling can come later. And Aaron turns his back to him and says, there's no way in hell I'd go along with such a messed up plan. Sorry, brother, I was only playing along in order to get here.
Woo!
Whoa.
That turned me on right there.
That's the moment.
Wrecked.
That's what we've been waiting
and
on.
I was like, wow, Aaron just played his big bro. There's no way. Zeke has got to be devastated. Get played, Zeke. That's what I was thinking.
Armin, like, big-brained. He believed in his brother, his friend, and it all worked out. He was right.
Yep. And I was thinking, you did it, Aaron. Mission accomplished. Hey, yeah. Crisis averted.
Crisis averted. Yeah. I was like, oh, this is going great. All he needed to say to make me see what really was going on is for him to say crisis averted. And I would have been like, oh, God, what's getting ready to happen? And it doesn't last long. Zeke starts to cry as he talks about how the bloodshed won't stop and we will just keep living in this cycle for eternity. He asks Aaron why. And Aaron says, great answer, because I was born into this world.
He was born into this world. He will not take away the ability of all other Eldians to be born into this world.
As the founder Ymir walks by, he says, Founder Ymir, lend me your power. As we see her eyes for the first time, and I think she might be blind. They're just white cue balls.
For some reason, you want so many people to be blind in this show.
I know. I was really riding for Uri to be blind.
Yeah, you're like, Uri's blind, even though, he's got like the massive regenerative abilities.
Someone will be blind, okay? Even though she could probably regenerate as well, she's definitely blind.
She's essentially the god of all gods, but she's blind.
She might just be so plugged into the past, her eyes had rolled into the back of her head. I don't like to believe that. I think she's blind. She walks right on by to Zeke.
Well, the way that she walks and carries herself and the look for her eyes, she looks very plugged into the past, almost as if she is a robot.
Well, yeah, she's walking around like she's got all the time in the world, which kind of makes me mad. But I guess she does have all the time in the world, so I guess she doesn't have to be in a hurry.
And you know she's never once had to be in a hurry in her life. She's just been walking around.
She walks right on by to Zeke as he said, "I thought as much, Aaron. I hoped, if anyone, you would understand. Is this the result of father's brainwashing again?"
He has got some daddy problems.
Zeke says, "In the time it took for you to wake up, I learned many things. The founder can make anything, even these chains." As he breaks out of them and says,
They just crumble.
Yeah, they crumble. He says, "As long as I, with royal blood, commands it. Unlike the king of the walls, I'm here without being tainted by the first king's ideals. And in the mind-numbing time I spent with the founder, I managed to nullify the vow renouncing war." War. He says, "Though possessing tremendous power, the founder is a slave with no will of her own. She believes those with royal blood are her masters and obeys them. I've obtained the founder's powers. You are no more than the key, Aaron." It's a classic switcheroo.
I thought Aaron just switcherooed him. No. He switcherooed it back.
It's the double switcheroo.
It's the double switcheroo. At this point, we're at like a quadrillion switcheroo.
If we go back and count all the switcheroos, it might be the 73rd switcheroo.
Yes.
We've all been duped.
And I'm not buying this right here. So what?
Hey, good call, because you know what that means. If you're not buying it, means you're preparing yourself for another switcheroo.
I'm not buying this whole Ymir shit. Why? So is she just not really a person? She's just walking around. He said she does whatever whoever has royal blood, she does what they want. Yeah. But then what's the point of her even being there? She has no will of her own. That's what I said. She's a robot. But why would she be a robot if she was once a human?
She's the founder of Ymir. She made all the Titans.
That's what I'm saying. She's got to have at least some sort of mind, right? Of her own. If she was a human at one point, or is she so plugged into the paths now that the royal blood has made it to where she just does one motion and does exactly what? Is that why she built Zeke's body back? Is because it's like, oh, he's royal blood. I have to do anything for the royal blood people.
Dude, I'm looking at you and I'm listening. And I don't have a fucking clue what you're saying. And it's not what you're saying. It's not making sense. It's just that my brain is so fucked up. And when you say things, all I hear is that my brain, this is what's going, paths, 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 and then the Ymir paths.
And then the very last thing is just paths.
And then you go, so paths? And then I look at you and I just start nodding my head vigorously and go, paths.
Paths.
Yeah.
Her name is Ymir Paths. It was never Fritz.
Yeah, I don't know. This was definitely some just very explainy bullshit where he's just like, yeah, she's all about the royal blood. And I don't know.
Well, it's like saying it's essentially like a deafblind girl. She just passes Aaron, doesn't even acknowledge him, walks straight up to Zeke. She's never said anything.
Does she even know? Does she even know that Zeke doesn't have the Founding Titan's power?
I don't know.
The fact that he's here with royal blood, does she just? I don't know. I mean, he's been here before, and obviously he didn't do some Founding Titan bullshit because he wouldn't have been able to.
She built his body back, so she obviously cares about him. I don't know. We're in, like I said, because
that's basically what it's. It doesn't matter if you have the founding. She doesn't care who has the Founding Titan. If you have royal blood and you get here, that's almost like.
And he essentially he just got to this point because he touched Aaron, right? Him and Aaron, they touch each other and they both.
But then he's also gotten there before without anything having to do with Aaron. And then now that I'm thinking about that,
he couldn't.
You were making a point about Ymir earlier, and you were crafting some theories, but Zeke got here without Aaron, so I don't know the fact that Ymir was here has anything special to do with anything.
And did Ymir, that Titan that came crawling up, did she make that Titan crawl up to him and do that? Because how would he even control it if he was blown in half? Did she make that Titan go all the way to him and say, hey, I need to build you back? Go fetch Zeke.
Well, the only thought I have there is we know that Zeke can control the Titans that he's made with his yell. That could have been one.
He just, before he got blown up, he was like, come get me if something happens or something.
Yeah.
I don't, there's so much shit, dude. When Zeke pulled the switcheroo at the end, my mouth, if you'd have looked at me, I think my mouth hit the floor. I thought
I heard something. I thought you just dropped your vape, and I looked, and your chin was on the floor, and I was like, oh, God. And I couldn't even ask if you were okay or if you had lockjaw or anything because I was too focused on what was going on.
I was so hyped that Aaron pulled a switcheroo that I was never expecting Zeke to pull a switcheroo.
And when it happened, it unhinged your jaw.
Yes.
Okay. Where the fuck am I even in my notes? Aaron looks down to see himself chained up as Zeke says, I'm glad I waited to hear your true feelings after you didn't catch my fucking baseball, you bitch.
He should have said that. Where is my ball?
He said, wow, pretty cool plan, Aaron, and you almost got away with it too if you had just caught my baseball.
You almost
got away. But your pride failed you. Because you didn't play a simple game of catch with me. I've been suspicious this whole entire time. He says, it's not your fault. We are both victims to our vile father. But I had another father who saved me. You need somebody to save you too. I will never abandon you. I will heal you with the Founder's power. When I save the world, it'll be with you. And they headbutt and sparks fly.
So he's... What the first thing I thought of when he headbutts and he said, I will heal you with the powers, he's going to do something to his memories. This is where shit can get wonky. We're talking Zeke.
You saying that right now, next episode, and I could be immediately wrong because I know they do next time on bullshit and all that, and there's probably an episode title. In my head, I want it to be a completely...
backstory.
Just like path episode. Where we just see whatever Zeke needs to show Aaron. What? And I don't even know what that would be at this point. I feel like we know kind of Zeke's whole thing, and I don't know what he would show Aaron. But
we can get the biggest mindfuckery ever. We could essentially get that Zeke like erases part of Aaron's memories to where he thinks he's doing the right thing, but he's not at all. So Zeke erases the part where Aaron actually doesn't want to do this plan and thinks he wants to do this plan. I mean, it can go 1,000 different ways.
Paths.
All
right.
I'm so ready for it. Ugh.
My brain feels just the fact like that pudding.
Us two doofuses have to cover this.
Why the fuck would anyone listen to this? Holy shit, this is a terrible podcast.
And to reiterate, we are anime onlys. Please, no spoilers.
It was an hour and 20 minutes of us doing this in the mic.
Yes. On our Discord, though, tell us what you thought about this episode.
Anything else? What else is there to say? You have any other questions? Where do we go from here?
I just told you.
When they come back, Aaron's head's decapitated. Like where does he end up? If they rebuild him up here,
that's a good point.
Is he where his body was?
That's a good point.
Is Zeke holding him in his hands?
I never.
Does he just fall from the sky?
I forgot that there was even a real world. I was so plugged into the past just now. I forgot that we have to go back there eventually. So yeah, I guess you're right. He's just gonna be in Zeke's hand. I
mean, there is some sort of time that can pass, right? Because like we saw with Zeke, they put him in the Titan put it in his belly, and then he didn't emerge until the Titan had done some like walking around, and then he came out. So I don't.
But not that much, though, because remember, Hanji...
Well, not much time, but...
It was literally probably maybe like 10 seconds, because Hanji and Flock were like right there, heard the Thunder Spear explode. They're like, oh, it's that way. Started going towards it, it put it in its belly, and then just laid down.
Right. So 10 seconds, I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
Had to be more than 10 seconds, because they got all the way there, saw the state of Levi, Hanji picked up Levi, they had to talk, and then he came up, so... He already felt like he was there for years now. Zeke and Aaron could literally just stay in here for what they think is 5,000 years, and 5 minutes goes by. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to put that 100 years equals 1 second.
I guess if I would have to predict anything, there's going to be some time where our characters think Aaron is dead.
Yeah. Because Gabby, think about Gabby. She just had that kickback. She doesn't even know if that shot got Aaron. And she is not a cunt.
She pulled the trigger and just sailed. Okay. Yeah, I don't have any thoughts. When do we see the Pixis Titan?
Yeah, you know what? That's the very first thing in next episode.
Let's get to the important stuff.
Big brain Pixis Titan.
And Falco! He's the jaw!
Yeah.
Falco's got a Titan.
And hey, and get this. Reiner is still not dead.
Reiner is still moving forward.
They are the same. They've been the same this entire time.
Well, okay. Yeah.
There is so much. There is just so there. What do we have? 9 episodes left?
Can all right. Now this is just bad because I'm just getting into crazy Looney Tune town now. Can Zeke take Titans away from Aaron? He's got 3. Can he be like, oh, you don't need the Warhammer Titan anymore. I'm giving that to Yelena.
You are not in Looney Tune town because we're already there. So you can say whatever you want.
I know.
I don't think. Well, Yelena is not an Eldian, so if he did that, that would be a little.
Can he
too
just
far.
make her?
Can he make her one? Can he inseminate her?
Yeah, I don't even know anymore.
I love how I want to see Yelena's reaction. Her reaction to the head being blown, or if she's just still meditating and praying.
Oh, you think you're going to see that reaction? She's about 27 city blocks away, meditating on top of the headquarters. She did not see that happen.
It's so epic.
She's got to walk so far to be able to get down to that action. Yeah, okay. And then Historia has a kid too that apparently is a big deal.
Maybe one of those flashes was the kid.
Is it the daughter that's going to grow up to be a witch?
Oh my. Think about it. Horstoria growing up a witch with chokers makes sense.
Okay. All right.
Farmer coon.
2 plus 2 equals 5.
She goes against her farmer coon of a dad, and
follow us at
goes goth.
Podcast Chronic on Twitter. Join the Discord.
YouTube. Give us a like. Thumbs up.
Find where I'm located in this world. Slap me in the face.
Yeah.
Ladies, wear more chokers. Send me pics.
Yeah. Black lipstick, please.
And
sweatshirt around the waist.
We'll talk with you next week. Anything else?
I think that's about it. Shinzo Sasageo!
Oh, wow. He's a people pleaser. You got to love that. Peace.
Peace.